Hello guys. So today we are gonna look over few of my Giuoco Piano games, and I'm gonna show you why do I prefer this opening and what this opening has to offer. There are a bunch of traps and key moves that we need to look at. And without further ado, let's start with the first game. So in this game, I'm almost rated 1800. My opponent is also almost there. So started with e4, knight f3, e5, knight f3, knight f6, c6. So this is the usual Italian setup where I bring my bishop to c4. And I was hoping for the opponent to go knight f6, then I can do some fried lever or some kind of attack. But then he went for c5, bishop c5. This is, you can see the chess.com is showing as Giuoco Piano game. And normally when this happens, I have a couple of options. e4 is good, b4 is good, but I went for c3, which is, as you can see, Giuoco Piano main line. And the idea is to break the center and castle the king and launch some kind of attack here. But then, and what I expect from the opponent is moves like knight f6 is good. They can also put pawn d6, but my opponent went for this funny looking move queen f6, which is not a bad move. You can see the evaluation is not just 1.0, kinda equal. But so yeah, so I continued with my normal idea, which is breaking the center with d4, and I did that. After that, the my opponent played a normal move, that is pawn takes b4, and then I went for this idea e5, threatening the queen. Also, we can see his king is still in the open. So if I give him a move, he will simply bring his knight to e7 and castle, right? You can see we have sacrificed a pawn here, and another pawn is in the line of sacrifice. And you can see this pawn is being attacked twice with the king, with the queen and the knight, and only defended once. Right? So my opponent saw this opportunity and he took it, but it's a big mistake, because now you can see there is none. His king is in the line, and we can simply pin this knight here. So I went on pinning the knight by playing queen e2. Right? You can see his knight is only defended once by the queen, and we are attacking it twice. So he went on adding another attacker, pawn d6. I took this pawn here, adding another attacker to this knight, also attacking the bishop at the same time. So bishop came to safety by giving me a check on b4. I had to stop this check either by doing this, or by doing this. So I went for knight b3, developing my knight in case he doesn't take. So I went knight b3. He took the knight. I took the bishop with pawn c3. So the center tension remains same. I'm still attacking this knight. This knight is still pinned to the king, and in his next move he went for pinning my knight by bishop g4. Right? And ignoring this pin, I went on taking the knight in the center, also attacking the queen. He took my knight, attacking my queen. I took his queen, he took my queen. Now at this point I had a couple of options. I saw that my bishop was hanging, and I have a couple of options. One option is taking this bishop or taking with the king, but I saw another idea, that is this. I saw that this rook can't move from here, right? So in the next move, whatever he plays, in the next move I can take this rook, also create a new queen, right? And there was only one option for him, that was taking this free bishop. He took it. I went on with creating a queen, and now you can see I have 10 more points of material here. I have a new extra queen, right? He went on castling, and then I took his pawn, and then he gave me a check. I blocked the check with my bishop, simultaneously developing it, also attacking this pawn. And at that point, he resigned. There was no hope for him. So now let's take a look at my second game of Giuoco Piano, and you can see my opponent is almost similar rated with to me, 1750. Started with the game with e4, e5, knight f3, knight c6. I put my bishop on c4, and you can see it is chess.com is giving this as Italian game. And then my opponent did this. He brought his bishop to c5, which is the Giuoco Piano, and as I did in the last game, I went for c3, Giuoco Piano main line. And my opponent responded with d6, which is a normal looking move, nothing fancy here. And I continued with my main idea, that is breaking the center with d4. He took the pawn, I took the pawn back, I am attacking his bishop. He cannot take this pawn as this pawn is defended twice. He gave me a check, I blocked the check with knight c3. He took the knight, I took it back with the pawn c3. And at this point, you can see the evaluation bar is in my favor. Not too much, not really winning, but it's in my favor. Because I have this great diagonal. Both bishops are looking at his king side. I have a great center and I'm ready to castle. Opponent responded with pawn f6. This move doesn't do much. Probably he was trying to stop this spin. Or probably this attacking, where I can attack this pawn twice. So I broke the center instead. I went with e5, hoping that he would take, and then I would come here, trade queens, launch some kind of attack so that open some lines in the center, because his king is still in the center. He responded with d5. Not a great move. Attacking the bishop, I put my bishop to safety, d3. Notice that I still have these great diagonals. I still have a great center. My king is ready to castle. He pinned my knight. I castled. He developed his knight. I threatened and this trade. You can see I still have a great center, great attacking plan. And then he castled. At which point I brought my king to g3. Hoping that since his king is pinned, this pawn is hanging, right? It can't take because this pawn is pinned, which I guess he missed by playing this funny looking move a6. I've continued with my main idea, taking this pawn. He had nothing to do. There was no way he can stop this mate, so he had to proceed with the pawn g6. I took his rook, and he took back my bishop. You can see I'm an exchange up here. I still have a great center and great attacking plan. I strike with f4, pawn f4, hoping that someday it would reach here or open this line or win at least one pawn here. I continue with my idea. He had to take with the knight. I took the bishop. I took his queen and this. So I saw that since I'm an exchange up, right, and I have a great center, trading is good for me. So I ended up trading most of the material, and basically now he has no counter attack. His queen is gone, he's down material, he does not have a good center, and his knight is also basically trapped. He cannot come here, he cannot come here, he has to retreat. Right? Then the game continued. I took his pawn, he brought his knight to e7, trying to attack my rook. I bring my rook to safety, and the game continued like that. I'm attacking his twice. You can say this pawn is very weak. Right? This pawn is so weak that his rook has to come to its safety. Effectively, he has one piece in this game, knight, and that is also not doing great here. Then I continue with bringing my pawn forward, and same thing he did, attacking, exchange some material, pinning this knight here, attacking this knight. He had to come and save this, defending this. Now, why is this a bad move? Because if this knight moves, this pawn is a corner. I'm attacking it twice, right? This rook cannot defend it because rook is defending this. Effectively, he does not have any of these pieces. They are just defending themselves. They are not doing any work. So effectively, this guy has only 4 pawns in his army. I saw that chance, and it's great for me. I will keep this tension here, and wait, yeah. So what I did is, I started bringing my pawns forward, hoping to get a new queen, and that's what I did. What can he do? He cannot move this, he cannot move this. So only piece that he can move is his king. If he moves his pawn, I'm simply taking them. Then I started pushing my pawns forward, my king and my pawns forward, and this guy has no hope, no moves. I gave him a couple of checks, I brought my pawns forward, computer evaluation shows m8, and there was no hope for him. I got a new queen, I took this pawn, he played this, and I had a couple options. This is also a good option, but I went on eating some pawns instead, and then he blundered. He tried to attack my rook, hoping that I would take and he will take back, but I simply took his knight, and this was the game, and he resigned. The only option for him, only option for him was to block the check with rook e8, but I would just take and it would be mate, checkmate. So you can see how the simple looking opening can turn into so much fun. And we did not play any fancy gambit. It's the opponent itself blundering. You can see, right? In the opening itself, he gave us 1.0 points of advantage, and we had a great center. We had ready to castle king, and all the pieces looking at his king. Another Giuoco Piano game, and this time I was 1800. Almost both of us were 1800. And I started with e4, e5, knight f3, knight c6, bishop c4, bishop c5, and as usual I went for the main line, that is pawn c3. And we saw that in the earlier games we have seen queen f6 here, pawn d6 here, but this time we saw this move, knight f6. I went with knight f6, and this is standard game, standard moves, nothing fancy here. You can see evaluation bar is equal. I continued with my main idea, that is breaking the center with d4, that I did in all 3 of these games. Did that, he took the pawn on the d4, I took it back, and he brought his knight bishop to safety while giving me a check. I blocked it with knight c3. He took the pawn here. Yes. So earlier in our games we have seen that they took our knight here, but this time he took my pawn here. Now you might see that I am not able to take this back, right? Also, this piece is attacked twice, because it's also pinned to my king here, so I effectively lost a pawn here. But this is a sacrifice, so I castle my king here so that at some point I can check with my rook. He saw that, and he took my knight here. I took it back. Now, since my bishop, his bishop is attacking my pawn, right, and there is nobody defending it, he took that, saw that chance and took it, and now he is attacking my rook. Here I played a brilliant move. What I would normally do is bring it back to safety. That is only move here, right? There is no other move. If I take it here, put my bishop here, he will just take it, right? But instead I went for an attack. I went for a king side attack. I saw that this line is open. His king is not castled. So I went for bishop c3, giving him my rook. And as some of you know, if he takes my rook here, it's a huge blunder, because I can then come up with rook e1, giving him a check. He cannot go here. Bishop is looking at that square. The only good move he has is this, but then I can simply take with my bishop, and then he will lose his queen. Also his bishop will be still stuck here. I'll be up material, I'll have a great center, I have my queen on the board. I'll simply win this. So he saw that and he did not go for taking the rook. Instead, he went for another move, that is d6. I continued my idea. I sacrificed my bishop. Although I had another plans, but I continued with this idea. I sacrificed my bishop, which will weaken his king side. Once he take, I you have a double attack here. I have a fork here, checking the king, and also attacking this bishop. There is no way to save this bishop, so he uh, went for pawn d5. I took his bishop, and the game was almost equal at that. Both material wise we are saying he's up a pawn, but his king is weak and it's still in the center. So I went for bringing this rook into the game. I brought my rook into the game. He went for this move, which is developing his bishop, also bringing his rook into the game. I also brought my queen here. Although I can see there is a threat of him moving his bishop and directly looking at the rook, but it's not bad. If he moves, I can simply take it and it will be equal trade because I have two pieces, right? So now he did this. He brought his queen here, which you can see the evaluation bar just jumped, and it's a bad move. I saw that chance. I saw that this piece is currently attacked. I currently defended thrice, right? But if I move my knight here, that would be a check, and he cannot take it. I'm looking at this. My queen is looking at this square, g5. So I went with this idea instead. He cannot go here. This square is attacked by my bishop, so he has to go someplace else, right? Effectively decreasing a defender for this bishop, and now I have 3 attackers for only 2 defenders here. So I went on. I took this bishop here. I'm effectively a piece up here. He took my pawn here, hoping that if I takes, he has 2 attackers on this and he can take the piece back. But also I'm taking this piece, so I just took it instead. I saw that if he takes this, I can take it with a knight. So I'll definitely be 1 piece up in any case. But he took the knight. He saw that thing and he took the knight, and then I took his pawn, pinning his rook here to the king. He brought his another rook. I exchanged some material. At that point, he took my rook here, giving me a check. At this point, I was afraid if I'm getting mated here. There is a back rank, right, and there is no piece that is attacking any square twice. But if you see that, this rook will save the game, because this rook was in the line of my queen, and this saving the check also comes with giving a check. So effectively this queen cannot move, and all he can do is move his king or his rook somewhere in these 2 squares, and I will simply take his queen, and I'd be up so much of material. And looking at that, he just simply resigned. So you can see we did not play any fancy move here. We did play one brilliant move here, but that is just following the principles, because we can see his king in the center, right? You should always castle your king before move 10. We saw that chance and we took it. If he takes, I can show you this line. If he takes this rook, look at the evaluation bar, it's 4.5, and then I can just keep doing this. He has this move, I can take, he cannot do nothing, and I'll simply, if he plays any move, I'll simply take this. He was basically losing. So you can see how Giuoco Piano can turn the game into such an interesting pattern, and yeah, you guys should try to play this opening.